What's up, everyone? It's TJ, your men's holistic health coach. Now, I've been on a break from posting too much stuff recently, but I figured today would be a good day as any to go ahead and talk about thoughts and how our mental health really does affect our physical health. It affects everything, actually. And so we can think of our thoughts as kind of a top-down mechanism where we have one either positive or negative thought. A thought that either helps us to feel expansive and loving, peaceful, and that would, of course, have good positive effects on our body, keeping us relaxed and parasympathetic nervous system mode. And then, of course, on the other end, we can think negative thoughts where they're going to be more, we're going to feel constricted, we're going to feel limited, we're going to feel maybe depressed, we're going to feel sad, we're going to feel frustrated. And so just like I have a book out right now, only like $5 on Amazon, basically talking about this idea that our energy field, because everything is, to put it very simply, everything is energy, right? And so us as human beings, bodies, souls, whatever it is you believe in, we are energy. And so what is going on is when we are having negative constrictive emotions, we're stopping the energy that goes through us, that helps us to be here, to be alive, to be moving and acting and doing things. And so when we limit ourselves, we're really limiting our energy. And so our thoughts, our emotions, it's a very big deal, and they affect us all the time, because most personal trainers or people you're going to talk to, they might have an understanding of this, but they're only going to teach you how to do a bench press or how to eat enough protein a day, which is not bad. They're all good things, but I think sometimes in the men's health realm, we miss out on these very important things because emotions and thoughts affect us 24/7. Maybe other than when we're sleeping, but other than that, they're affecting us all the time. So that's why I love to teach men about mindfulness and why this stuff is actually really important and how this stuff will affect you in your life. But yeah, enjoy this little video of me working out while I ramble on to you guys about thoughts and what I've been reminded of lately. So I occasionally do psilocybin mushrooms, and so this is basically it's kind of like a trip report, if you guys have ever heard about that, or maybe you've done mushrooms yourself or had a psychedelic experience. I'm basically talking about things I was reminded of on this trip I had recently, and it was very enlightening, very inspirational. But I want to stick around the key topic of how thoughts can either heal us or they keep us stuck in disease, and we can never really be killed. I'd like to believe that we are all collectively infinite energy, the universe being human, really, essentially, but we could say that thoughts could either heal us or kill us, but of course we can never really be killed, our essence anyway. And as many of you know who've listened to me for a little bit, I when I think of health, I remember that the word heal is in health. And so being healthy really means that we are always healing. We're keeping our bodies and minds as a healing environment, something that is constantly healing no matter what is going on. So for example, I've had a cold recently. Maybe you can tell, I can hear me, I'm a little stuffed up, but I've had a cold recently. And so instead of seeing myself as sick and, oh, my body's just weak, so it's catching a cold, instead I see it in a way more positive way, where I see sickness is something that I'm detoxing from. I get an infection and my body's able to be positive and to detox. But anyway, back to what I was saying is, so yeah, I had this inspiring mushroom trip, and it was revealing a lot of things to me. And another thing that I've been reminded of lately, that our bodies can only be healing environments, but the entire universe really is naturally loving, naturally just expansive, and it's naturally healing. You look at like a tree, for example, something that, as far as we know, tree maybe isn't capable of complex thought. The tree just kind of stays there and it just grows and it grows and it grows, for the most part anyway, unless something is really stopping it. But it's always healing, it's always growing, it's always evolving. We can look at this with most plants. Unless their environment isn't helping them out, then they're going to keep growing. And so I believe the universe is naturally going to be healing, naturally going to be expansive, and honestly joyful. And it's really hard for us humans to see that, because we get stuck in negative thoughts. And so let's see here, what's a good thought? What's a good example? Let's say this is a common one for myself. So sometimes when I forget something, even though my wife has told me 1,005 times to make sure that I don't put her jeans in the dryer because they're going to shrink, then I'm gonna, when I forget that, even after she's told me so many times, I'm gonna beat myself up. So I will be having negative thoughts about myself, thinking I'm inferior or not good enough, or I'm stupid, or whatever it is. It's all very negative, all very limiting. So what happens in our bodies when we have thoughts like that? Well, of course, our body is always listening to our thoughts, and it's going to reflect our thoughts. Our body is a manifestation of the mind. And so when we have thoughts like that, then of course we might have more slumped shoulders. We're going to have more hormones like maybe too much cortisol going through our bodies. I know cortisol is a big thing. I'll see it on like TikTok and stuff. Everyone has their own opinions, but of course cortisol is just a completely neutral hormone, and it just plays a part in stress. But too much of maybe cortisol or too much adrenaline, too much of these really helpful hormones can be detrimental to us, and they can induce chronic stress in the body, which is not good. That opens us up to um, depleting our immune system, depleting our energy. So I don't want to say stress is bad at all. Stress can be a really good thing, but only we have to have a balance. We have to maintain a balance of stress, not too much stress. And so negative thoughts can cause too much stress, having negative thoughts going on all the time. And sometimes the issue is we have negative thoughts going on, but we're not aware of them. We're actually so used to them being there. It's kind of like a zit on our face. Like we're so used to the zit being there, and it's so close to our face, of course, that we can't see it. Our eyes don't pick up the zit on our face. And so thoughts can be like that, where they're so close to us, we're so identified with them, but we don't even notice they're there. That's why I teach meditation to men, because it helps men to become more aware of what is actually going on, to realize you are more than just your thoughts. Your thoughts are a byproduct of your being, of your life force, your essence, whatever you want to call it. The thoughts just, they come and they go. They aren't you per se. You can put them on like clothes, like you would going to your wardrobe, pick out a new t-shirt. The thoughts are just going to come and go. And so that's why surrendering to how the universe is going is key to all this. You just surrender. And surrender doesn't mean you don't do anything. Surrender means you let thoughts come up. You let thoughts come up and out. Sometimes we're holding on to negative thoughts and we want to fight them. Like we get a thought that says, I'm stupid. And then I want to go, no, I'm not stupid. And then we spend all day trying to prove ourselves that we're not stupid. But when we do that, it might seem like a good thing. But in reality, all we're doing is fighting the thought that we are stupid. And so really when we are trying to shove positive thoughts into our brain while also keeping the negative one, then of course we're still believing the negative one. We're just trying to cover it up. And so when I say surrender, I mean to let go, to just let thoughts do their own thing. When a thought comes up that says, I'm stupid, I'm inferior, you just let it come and you let it go. And it can be very difficult to describe the action of letting go. Letting go is just, it's almost not even an action. It's really just simply being, just simply, there's another thought, positive, negative, whatever. And we can invite positive thoughts to heal our body. I'm not saying we can't do that. But I think when it comes to negative, not helpful thoughts, we just let them go, just like we would be watching clouds in the sky. So, for example, lately I've been embodying too many burdensome expectations, negative thoughts. They've been limiting me so much that I've been having a lot of anxiety, whether that's at work, whether it's with coaching, whether it's parenting, whether it's being a husband, whatever it is. And it's causing all the stress hormones to build up and build up. So I've had a lot of chronic stress lately. And so hence why I was going on the psilocybin mushroom trip to help me to release all this. And then of course it was successful. And this is why I'm sharing with anyone that's listening. And so because I've been embodying and identifying with all these thoughts, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, then it caused me to be so stressed. And this opened me up to sickness, so getting colds, especially in the winter, with colds going around. And so you just got to remember that when we're having these negative thoughts, whether you can be aware of them or not, they're affecting every part of your body. Every cell of your body is listening to your thoughts and what's going on. So that's why this is so important to become aware. We all have a part of us that is completely silent and it can just listen. It can just see and hear, observe the thoughts that are going on in their head. And we need to do what we can to help us get to that point. And all the things I teach help us to get to that point, whether it's weightlifting, whether it's meditation, whether it's journaling, whatever it is, whatever activity and thing that you love and enjoy, it probably gets to that spot. So use that practice, whatever it is, exercise, whatever, to get to that point where you're able to just observe what is actually happening in your mind That way you'll be able to let go of what is no longer serving you. So just keep that in mind. Always be mindful of what is going on. So negative thoughts about ourselves that insinuate we aren't enough or remind us we always need to do more to be enough end up keeping us in a constant uphill battle against ourselves. So what I'm trying to say here is when, kind of like what I was saying earlier, this is something I wrote down, negative thoughts, when sometimes we like to identify with them because we actually feel comfortable in those thoughts. Kind of like putting on a shirt, we go, oh, well, this shirt's familiar, even though it's not comfortable, but it's just the shirt that I'm used to wearing. So we do that with thoughts all the time. We put on a thought, well, like, it's kind of uncomfortable, but this one I'm used to is all I know. I don't want to put on a positive thought because that would mean changing myself, and that's a lot of work. So sometimes we do that, and because those are there, they they keep us very down, our immune system is suppressed. They keep us low energy, low testosterone, and they break us down. They break our body down into disease. That's what we don't want. And so sometimes, even though it's more comfortable to actually be negative, and believing negativity is so contagious, we got to be able to be more mindful of that and to break out into positivity. And like I said earlier, positivity is actually, in my opinion, with all the meditation, all the mindfulness practices I've done, positivity seems to actually be the default mode of the entire universe. The entire universe actually seems to be, yes, it is, I would say it's also neutral at the same time, but neutrality can be very positive. Neutrality is peace, neutrality is love, and that's growth. And so we want to be in that nice, neutral, peaceful, quiet space as much as we can to help us to be healthy, really. And a good quote that really sums all of this up is, it's by, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Lao Tzu, Laotzu. I believe he's a Chinese author, but one quote he said is, "By letting go, it all gets done." And so we need to make sure that we're we're really just letting go of our expectations. We're letting go of all these heavy thoughts about ourselves, but we're letting go of what we think life should do or how we think life should end up, because really we're a byproduct of life. We're surrendering to the infinite universe, infinite life that's going on forever. We're surrendering to that higher power, and we're doesn't mean we don't do anything. We're still going to do what we love to do. We're still going to do what's easy to surrender to. And for example, like, I love weightlifting, so I can surrender to that. I'm learning to eat healthier, and I can surrender to that because I know it's the highest good for me right now. And so we're surrendering to the things that are good for us, and we're going with the flow, with the universe, back to positivity and back on to healing. And so that's basically all I want to talk about with you guys today. I know it was slightly a ramble. I didn't have it super planned. This is more just something I wanted to get out there. That what it comes down to is being mindful of our thoughts. And this is something we do in the present moment. Of course, the present moment is forever. It goes on forever. The present moment it never ends, because time is ultimately a mental human construct. Whether you think about the past or the future, that is a construct within your mind. So be present with yourself. See the thoughts that are coming and going, and let go of what's no longer serving you. Maybe you have thoughts right now that are sitting heavy on you that you can let go of. If you guys want to learn more, I have a book out that I'll put in the description below, whether you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, whatever platform it is, I'll make sure to put it out there for you guys. You can read more, have more information on this. All right, guys, we'll see you. Have a good one.